Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our show. My name's Mark Potter. Today I'm going to be reading, this is show number 2 in a series of poetry readings from a manuscript called Floating Flowers. So I'm going to read some poems and maybe some stories, but I think in this manuscript it's mostly poetry. So it's wonderful to have you here with me. I know you're busy, but it's nice that a few people at least have come to view this. So I will begin. I will begin. Here we go. Let me see if I can find the manuscript. Here we go. I'm going to start with a poem that I ended with last time called Moth Days. I waited 4 days for the moth to surface, to come up, to get frantic about a way out of my small room. Finally he appeared, stumbling, confused. I opened a huge box. He flew in. I stuck the box through the window, releasing him where he would be happier. As I danced in the kitchen, singing, I saved a moth, I saved a moth, he casually flies out from under the flap of the box, calmly looking for nothing. I like that piece a lot. So some of them I will read twice, but this one I'm just reading once here. The next one's called The Study of Ego. I think it's a short piece. Most of these are short. There are a few long ones in one of the manuscripts. I don't know which one, and there's also some short stories. So the study of ego. The ego is a blackbird perched in a pitch black room, pecking at itself. In a mirror. All right, I'm going to read that one again. And maybe I've got these, my eyesight is not very good, so I've got these at 36 font. I think I'm going to take this down to 24, which is the next lowest automatic one. Okay, the study of ego. The ego is a black bird perched in a pitch black room, pecking at itself in a mirror. Thank you guys, and I think I'll give my email and my phone number both in the description box of the. If you're watching this on my YouTube, they are in the description box. Otherwise, they're on the screen. So, yeah. I seem to always yawn when I do these shows. Whenever I'm doing a show by myself, I think it does something to my psyche. As it always seems to be that I'm yawning and yawning and yawning and yawning and yawning and yawning and yawning. Now, this piece is fairly long, so I was going to make it smaller, but it won't. I don't think it'll fit on one page even if I did. So, a study of blackbird. The way the blackbird quickly and curiously darts his head to one side at an angle, then quicker than quick to the other side at a slightly different angle. He is sitting here on the thick cable that goes taut at 45 degrees. as though it is securing something. The bobbing and weaving of his head shows off the high sheen of his feathers. How very much his coat of sheen has to offer the world. And there's a footnote here which says, I saw this blackbird while walking along First Street between Heading and Mission. That's in San Jose, California. I was walking along First Street from Mission Street toward Heading, as the link to the map below shows better. So that's the story on that. It's titled Sunday, November 18th, 2012. And this is now 2024 December, so it was a while ago. My goodness. Let's read it again, of course. A study of blackbird. The way the blackbird quickly and curiously darts his head to one side at one angle, then quicker than quick to the other side at a slightly different angle, excuse me, he is sitting here on the thick cable that goes taut at 45 degrees as though it is securing something. The bobbing and weaving of his head shows off the high sheen of his feathers. How very much his coat of sheen has to offer the world. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening. Oh, and here's an email. I don't know why there's an email in the middle of a poetry book. Oh, I think it was a precursor to a poem that I sent out. So this next poem is called As, A-S. As morning breaks too late, I am always here, passing through the fiber of every being, every space, every note of music, every rock, every pail of goat milk. At this moment in Morocco, they are blessing weddings with the scent of orange. Throughout the meditation, I am reminded yes, I will read that again. You know, poetry is an interesting thing. It doesn't always, quote unquote, make sense. And hopefully it helps us a little bit in different ways. As, the title is the word as, A-S. As morning breaks too late, I am always here, passing through the fiber of every being, every space, every note of music, every rock, every pail of goat milk. At this moment in Morocco, they are blessing weddings with the scent of orange. Throughout the meditation, I am reminded. I like that one. So, yeah, I like there to be some space between the poems. Just not just talking, but empty space. The next poem has to have a little bit of a explanation. This one has to do with Zen. It refers to a book called The Essential Zen, page 7, and it also refers to a Zen master from years and centuries ago named Ryokan. So a poem is titled Reading. After reading Ryokan, The Essential Zen, page 7, and then there's a colon. The full emptiness between your fingers is indeed your fingers right now. Let me read that again. The word reading is the title. After reading Ryokan, The Essential Zen, page 7, colon. The full emptiness between your fingers is indeed your fingers right now. And that would be hard to explain. What I would say about it, if I tried to explain it, would probably just sound like nonsense or gobbledygook. So I'm just going to go on. Next piece is called Fireworks. The endless fireworks, like bouncing children, pushing the huge pitcher of Kool-Aid onto the linoleum floor. Smash! Crash! I do have other pieces. Somebody is saying I should go back and read the first one, the Essential Zen one. Let me read both of these together. I don't know why, but the first of the two I'm reading is called The Word Reading. After reading Ryokan, The Essential Zen, page 7, colon, the emptiness between your fingers is indeed your fingers right now. Okay, the next piece, which I have read once and I will read for a second time, is called Fireworks. The endless fireworks, like bouncing children, pushing the huge pitcher of Kool-Aid onto the linoleum floor. Smash! Crash! Okay, next poem is called Black Labrador, and I did back in the early 2000s. Back in the early 2000s, I had a Black Labrador dog, and she was lovely. Her name was Ebony. I loved her very much, and like almost every dog on the planet, she was very afraid of fireworks. So this is a poem about that. Black Labrador. On this beautiful 4th of July, I remember the Black Labrador Ebony who lived here. The firecrackers would crack, an angry robber stealing the serene. She would cringe and shake uncontrollably. I can only hope that this year someone can bring her comfort. And as the poem suggests, I gave her up at some point, and a friend had my friend's grandfather had a farm in upstate New York, so we sent her there so she would have what I hoped was a better life, you know. Okay, Black Labrador. On this beautiful 4th of July, I remember the black Labrador, Ebony, who lived here. The firecrackers would crack, an angry robber stealing the serene. She would cringe and shake uncontrollably. I can only hope that this year someone can bring her comfort. Thank you, guys. This next poem has the same title as a movie. It was a monstrously failed movie called Waterworld that I think Kevin Costner may have been the force behind it, if I remember right. I could be wrong about any of that, but anyway, the poem is called Waterworld. No one is an island. Who really wants to be surrounded by water that long anyway? Maybe a long shower, sure, or a quiet afternoon with your hands in the dishwater. I think that one's okay the way it stands. I do have a couple of other manuscripts I'm going to be reading from eventually. I won't say their names now because it'll just confuse everybody, but this one that I'm reading from right now, it's called Floating Flowers. Oh, this poem I like a lot. It's a little bit different because it's more complicated. It's a story poem. It has some humor in it. It's a little bit longer, but not super long, but it is longer than the others. And the poem has a long title as well. The title is So You Write Screenplays for a Cop Show. How is that working out for you? Okay, the title again is So You Write Screenplays for a Cop Show. How is that working out for you? The writer is up against it, up against the deadline. His daughter's third grade play, his son's high lie practice. The dog's obedience is to be considered. His wife's gentle, firm guidance forward. His mother's dementia. His boss's vision of the show's future. The show's sacred ratings down 7 points from last week. The current topical news to be written into each episode. Part 2. A tall scotch, no ice, before or after or before a milkshake. Really? A milkshake for chocolate's sake? A bad pizza? The butchered body strewn, parts of it anyway, on a formerly hyper-white couch, the Glock 9mm, the angle of the hollow point bullet, the criminal's black clothing and stealth behavior. His man Robinson both is and is not tiptoeing through the clues, as invisibly as a motionless wind, as loudly as the marshmallows conflagration. Who knew? A skilled, ice-accurate assassin, possibly Swedish, and alternatively a second murderer, a crazed purple lover. Who knew that the two criminals would arrive at the victim's apartment, well, as precisely as we need it to be, at exactly the same moment outside of time. The paper boy and his red-haired sister running from the scene. Let me get rid of that. The paper boy and his red-haired sister running from the scene. The blood dries. The bad pizza crusts itself. Scotch whiskey, then an idea, then the Scotch egg, obliquely Shakespearean. Part 3. I'm going to put the phone on here in a minute. I'll try to, okay, I can pause this maybe. Let me see if I can pause the episode. Let me pause. Hello, everyone. I've resumed the show. And I'm sorry for the interruption. I was hoping for one particular phone call that I didn't get. So that was somebody else that calls me way, way too much. So, all right, let's go back here. I don't know. We've got 4 minutes left, which makes me a little nervous. Okay, part 3. I don't know whether to, let's go up to the top, but this piece is longer than I thought it was, so that's not good for the end of a video, is it now? Okay. Ah, boy. I don't think this piece, what the hell? Yeah, I don't think this piece is going to work in this here. I don't think this piece is going to work in this episode because there's not enough time left. So let's go to the next one. I apologize for that, but I'm going to go ahead and go to the next piece because this thing has a ton of footnotes as well. It's long and it has footnotes. So, yeah, it's got like 5 footnotes. See if this piece is any shorter. That piece is, I don't know, that piece is not short either. Maybe I'll just talk to you guys. I want to tell you that I really like the TV station called KMVT15.org. So think of MV as Mountain View, California. KMVT15.org. I have been a volunteer there since 2001, and it's now 2024, so 23 years. I've done hundreds and hundreds of shows. I've been a producer almost all that time. Produced hundreds of shows. I really like the station. I would like people to watch it. You can find it on Roku. The way Roku used to be set up is Channel 99 is in itself a whole bunch of TV channels that are all the community access channels. That's the kind of station that KMPT is. It's a community access station. And if you live locally in the immediate local area of KMPT, this is a very local station, so that would be Sunnyvale, Mountain View, Cupertino, Los Altos, and some other city around there. you can get it on your local Channel 15, but in other cities, Channel 15 is some other community access station. So it's a very fun show. I mean, very fun TV station. Used to be you could take classes there and learn about television. Nowadays, everybody just uses their iPhone pretty much, but it's a very cool place. They have their own very large YouTube channel, and my about 150 of my shows are sitting on there. That show is called In Our Community. And then I have a separate YouTube channel called Marc Isaac Potter Presents, where I interview leaders of various fields. So uh, I appreciate you guys a lot. I've been broadcasting all these years, and will keep continuing to do so. My phone number and email are in the either in the description box or they're in on the show. So look forward to having you there. Take care of yourself, okay? Talk to you soon. This is episode number 2. I like this sound. It's this end of the show sound. Uh, this is episode number 2 of what I call Floating Flowers, which is the name of the poetry manuscript from which this material is derived. It's one of my poetry manuscripts, and I care about you guys very much, and I'll see you later. Please take care, okay? I always turn my head because I have to see the larger monitor over here that helps me figure out how to stop the recording. So that's why. Take care, folks. Talk to you soon.